As Captain Archer and Nathan Samuels struggle to hold the coalition of planets together, Starfleet Command faces serious challenges in preparing for its first major interstellar war.
In the 22nd century, Starfleet Command and the United Earth Space Probe Agency were in the business of doing three things: research, exploration, colonial operations. Starfleet's mission was primarily to protect the shipping lanes and check in on the colonies. Earth's space agencies were not equipped or trained for major confrontations.
Identify yourself!
I'm Jonathan Archer, captain of the Starship Enterprise.
You're harboring fugitives. Surrender them!
While hostile encounters with alien species over the decades were not new, the recent contacts with the warrior Klingons and the genocidal Xindi convinced Starfleet to get serious about planetary defense.
Lightly armed, slow starships weren't going to cut it in the dangerous new regions of space that humans were venturing into. Luckily, Starfleet had gotten a head start on the weapons upgrades that Captain Archer recommended after he came back from the Delta Expanse. Phase cannons and photonic torpedoes were becoming standard issue on all new ships of the line, but there was a lot of work to do to get the rest of the fleet up to spec.
The main goal of Project Deploy was to get all of the ships of the United Earth Starfleet up to Warp 5 within a year.
It took weeks, sometimes months, for each of these old, slow starships to get all the way back to Earth for a refit.
Ships originally built for scientific or colonial missions were being gutted and rebuilt to wage war. Aside from weapons and defensive upgrades, dozens of vessels needed new warp reactors to be able to keep up with their own task forces. Then there were the new NX-class starships, which had their own set of drawbacks.
The NX-class ships like Enterprise, Columbia, Challenger, they'd already proven that they could hold their own in a hostile encounter. The problem is that they cost too much and took too long to build. That's when Starfleet took a second look at the Daedalus-class cruiser. The modular design made them easy to assemble, they were sturdy, and they could handle different mission profiles. Some were troop ships, others were bombers. A few served as hospital ships. After Salem 1, it was all about numbers, so Starfleet built the hell out of the Ds. The shipyards could crank out 4 Daedaluses to every one NX-class ship.
To bolster their numbers even more, Starfleet recommissioned a handful of Pioneer-class transport vessels. The Pioneers were the backbone of Zephram Cochrane's expedition to Alpha Centauri and predated Starfleet.
If it could fly, Starfleet needed it.
Refitted, reloaded, and recrewed, the ships of the United Earth Starfleet are finally ready to face the Romulans by the summer of 2156. And yet, despite all the upgrades and refits, Earth's armada is still slower and not as well armed as the Romulan Navy, and Starfleet is outnumbered by nearly 3-1. After 2 years of crushing defeats, all hope seems lost. Starfleet strategists predict that within a year, Earth may have no choice but to surrender, assuming the Romulans accept it. But at a top-secret facility at Ganymede Station, plans are in motion to change the rules of the game. The Yorktown Project, if it is successful, could be humanity's only hope for survival.